In Irmo tonight, residents of a senior care facility surprised when a large tree fell on their building, breaking through units and causing an evacuation. News 19's Nate Stanley was there and has more on how residents are reacting tonight.
And boom!
Maxine Beverly was sitting in her living room Friday night following updates on Hurricane Ian when a tree crashed through her roof.
Glass went all over me, but I don't have a scratch.
Shortly before 7 p.m. Friday night, the tree fell at the St. Andrews Senior Living Facility.
When we arrived, we found a very large tree that had impacted the back of the structure and the roof, caused substantial damage to the roof and several of the units on the second, third, and fourth floor.
A total of 16 units, about a third of the building, needed to be evacuated, putting residents like Ruby Long out of their homes for the foreseeable future.
Horrendous noise, and I jumped up when the dust settled. And I got a tree coming through my roof and the window and the wall.
The Irmo Fire Operations Chief says the next step is for the property management company to find temporary housing for those displaced, something he says they are working on. For Long, the important fact is that out of 16 units, not one person was injured and everyone was able to walk out to safety.
But thank God everybody's okay. That's the main thing. So.
In Columbia, Nate Stanley, News 19, WLTX.
And in Columbia's Shandon neighborhood, downed trees were also an issue today. News 19's Rachel Ripp shares how businesses and homeowners dealt with the issue.
Not exactly the way they want to be spending their 2-year anniversary. This business called The Workout on Divine Street woke up at midnight to tree damage.
We got a call last night in the middle of the night, right at midnight, and somebody at Zaz actually had seen the tree fall down and it hit the power line, so there was like a little bit of a fire and everything. So I got here by like 12:05 and the fire department came.
Thankfully, no one was injured. This nearly 35-foot tree caving into their roof caused rain to flood the inside of the building. Crews have been on the scene since 7 this morning and have since removed all these tree limbs. Karis Lowen, the owner, has a good attitude about it.
It is what it is, you know, a tree fell on the building, can't go back in time, so we're just trying to do all the necessary steps to protect what we have in there and then figure out how to proceed forward with business.
She says she had no reason to believe this tree was dead.
The oaks, in many cases, look healthy, and they actually have they're diseased from the inside out, and whenever we get a wind event, whether it be a severe thunderstorm or something like this, there's always that possibility of not only limbs coming down, but the tree itself, and we have a lot of them here in Shandon.
The property manager across the street, Al Floyd, tells me the tree hitting the power line connected to his shopping center took out power to 2 restaurants for only an hour or 2.
Before too much damage could be done, it appears the fire department was able to get here. They're right down the street. They're just a half a block away.
Only a few blocks down, another tree fell on a home in Heathwood Circle at around 1:15 a.m. The homeowner declined an interview but shared these videos and photos with me, telling me they just finished a 15-month renovation. Reporting in Columbia, Rachel Ripp, News 19 WLTX.
And according to Dominion Energy, you should stay at least 30 feet away from any downed power line.
It's the calm after the storm here in Holly Hill. We're told eastern Orangeburg County was the hardest hit due to low lines, and now residents are left picking up the pieces.
I think we're blessed and just glad everyone's okay and our house is okay, and yeah.
Downed trees all over Holly Hill caused by strong winds and heavy rains. Residents say they're grateful for their family's safety.
I'm just concerned for all the people that, you know, might have a bunch of trees, like big trees, or like maybe hit their house or something. Just concerned about that.
One tree fell outside this Holly Hill home and split into pieces, becoming tangled into power lines. Tommy Burks has lived in the home for 16 years, and throughout that time, he's experienced 6 hurricanes.
We had a tornado that come right over a house in the past, and it took the top out of the tree, so we've had some bad weather around here.
The fallen tree from Ian blocking his driveway.
My sister came over to stay with us, and she was going to park her car on the driveway right there, and we decided to move it to the front of the house. And I'm glad we did, because it would have got crushed if she had left it sitting there. So
Residents now left counting their blessings.
It definitely could have been a lot worse. And just thinking about the people in Florida, what they're going through. Yeah.
Said pray for Florida.
Crews are still working to get power restored to the affected areas. In Holly Hill, Nigel Hood, News 19 WLTX.
And another Midland city that had to deal with this storm today was Sumter, but they've seen this before, however, on a much larger scale with Hugo back in '89. News 19's Becky Buds is in the Gamecock City tonight with the latest.
Strong winds, heavy rain, fallen trees and power outages were some of the outcomes to hit Sumter Friday.
This is our first time out today, so it's not bad. After being cooped up inside all day, it's pretty good.
It feels good to just actually move around some.
Gusty winds and heavy rainfall not stopping Sumter visitors David Robinson and Treva Long from getting outside and exploring downtown. However, most businesses were closed due to the weather, many of them putting sandbags outside, preparing for flooding that luckily never came.
Usually right in the front of our door, it floods out, but right now it's looking pretty good.
Major Randall Stewart with the Sumter County Sheriff's Department says crews were active, responding to calls of downed trees and power lines in the road.
Heavy rains, we had high winds. It could have been much worse. The flooding, I do know that they had drained some ponds and reservoirs in the area to help aid that, so we didn't have any significant impacts that we couldn't handle.
Residents like Caden Nivens and Matthew Lawson say they're grateful the storm wasn't worse.
Yeah,
I'm a little happy.
I don't like ever seeing people lose stuff or power go out and people can't make money where they need to, so I think it's good it wasn't as bad as everybody said it was going to be.
I agree.
The city of Sumter says staff are working to clear fallen trees and other debris from roads and are urging residents to use caution when driving. Reporting in Sumter, Becky Buds, News 19 WLTX.
And outside of the Midlands now, the wind and the rain was much worse, especially in Charleston, leaving many businesses to close up shop. News 19's Walker Lawson is there tonight with the story.
King Street in Charleston is typically full of shoppers and businesses ready to serve, but many businesses chose safety over service, leaving those heading out on the streets with limited options for places to go.
Kind of used to all this stuff now, and this one wasn't as big as what we thought it was going to be first coming in, but always better to be safe than sorry.
John Simmer is the manager of Beach, who decided to close all day Friday like many businesses in Charleston, leaving travelers like Stacy Hudson with limited options.
We're trying to find food, and there's not a lot of food, a lot of water in the streets, a lot of trees down.
Hudson isn't the only one who braved the elements and headed outside. Resident Trevor O'Brien came out and found himself out of luck with most places closed.
I was trying to get gas on over on King Street, but it was closed. This gas station's closed.
And while many remained closed, Simmert says shops like his are ready to reopen.
Yep, reopening everything, getting everything back up and running for tomorrow. We plan on it being pretty much full staff.
Reporting in Charleston, I'm Walker Lawson, News 19 WLTX.
And Kaylin Hagwood continues our team coverage from the Lowcountry with a look at how residents in Charleston are beginning to clean up.
A wet and windy day turned evening of cleanup after Hurricane Ian battered the Charleston coast.
And when I took a bike ride around the peninsula, I saw some pretty, heavily hit areas and places that were quite flooded. I was up to my knees riding my bike through the water.
Floodwaters now receding around the city, bringing residents out for a look at the impact.
Honestly, a little stronger than I thought. I'm off work today, so that's nice. Just kind of came downstairs. I live here and just wanted to check it out.
While some chose to evacuate ahead of the hurricane, which arrived at a Category 1 strength, others chose to stick it out. Their pets the biggest concern.
Where do you take the dogs? Because they don't like this weather, and I don't know where she's gonna go.
As conditions normalize, so does the Charleston community, with people returning downtown. And residents who chose to leave now able to return home to a beautiful view of the Charleston Harbor. Reporting in Charleston, Kaylin Hagwood, News 19 WLTX.
Also in Charleston tonight, Mark Strassman with CBS News. He was there today as some incredible images unfolded along the coast.
Ian smacks every place hard. Today, the South Carolina coast, places like Charleston and Pawleys Island. Police there called flooding catastrophic.
Oh man, it's washing it away.
In Cherry Grove, the local pier washed away into the Atlantic. This Category 1 hurricane brought misery galore, 85-mile-per-hour winds, up to 7 feet of storm surge, and in some spots, 8 inches of rain.
It's still very dangerous, and there's still winds even where there's not much water.
And where there's too much water, a half block from Myrtle Beach itself, we watched this rescue. Apartment residents trapped by a moat 4 feet deep, plucked to safety by fire crews.
It got really bad. We thought we can just,
Ride it out. And what happened?
that generator started smoking.
And the water started rising?
Yeah.
Near where the Atlantic pours onto Ocean Boulevard, we rode with Master Corporal Thomas Vest. His message to blunt Ian's human cost.
Again, the big thing for us is making sure people stay safe, stay inside and off the roadways so we can keep emergency responders focused on safety and out of floodwaters.
South of here is the South Carolina region known as the Low Country, areas that are at sea level or under it, vulnerable to flooding and now overwhelmed by water. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Joint Base Charleston recovery teams have started assessing the damage in Charleston caused by the storm. Being told work is being done now to restore both military and commercial airfield operations as soon as possible. At the height of the storm today, nearly 220,000 homes and businesses lost power across the state. Crews have been working nonstop to try to get everybody back on, and now that number stands at a little more than 94,000. Here in the Midlands, Clarendon County still has over 300 outages. In Sumter, there's a little less than 600. Orangeburg tonight is reporting at about 800 outages. To check and report outages in your area, head to our website, WLTX.com, and search outage.